As foreigners looking to date a Filipina, we're always looking at things from our own perspective. We may be looking for signs around if she's genuine or not genuine, and wonder if this sweet, beautiful Filipina we see is actually into you or what you can provide for her. Right here, you must know that Filipinas have just as many, if not more, concerns when looking for a foreign man than what you do when looking for a Filipina. And if you want to know the things a Filipina fears when dating a foreigner, then be sure to stay with me here. Now, despite what some foreign guys think, a Filipina has far more to lose here than many realise or want to admit. And right here, I'm going to call it exactly how I see it and how it is. Some foreign guys look at themselves as the prize in the relationship, and I even hear some Philippines YouTube vloggers say this is the case. To me, this is an arrogant statement, and one that certainly isn't true. And my tip right here to any Filipinas who may be watching this video is to run away from any foreign guy that you hear say that they're the prize in the relationship. Because simply, one person doesn't make the relationship. It's built on two people contributing in many ways, albeit possibly in different areas within that relationship. Just think about it for one moment. When a man has the audacity to say that he's the prize in the relationship, this is not a self-confidence thing or a self-worth statement. It's full of arrogance and typically a statement made by a narcissist who is so into themselves that they can't see the true value that others offer in a relationship. So be 100% sure that certainly no one person is the prize, but together you can be very formidable as a team for the long term. I digress a little here, but I feel so strongly about this I needed to share, especially for the many wonderful Filipinas watching out there. Now I'm about to tell you the things a Filipina fears when dating a foreigner, and even before they start dating a foreigner, based on my many conversations with Filipinas over the past few years. And I'd really love for the Filipinas watching this video to comment around what your fears are or would be when looking to date a foreign man. I'm sure that many Filipinas have heard so many stories about foreign guys doing wrong by Filipinas, and so it's perfectly natural to be rather apprehensive no matter if looking online or in person in the Philippines for a foreign partner. But Filipinas on the whole are in a far more vulnerable position than the foreigner in many senses. So many Filipinas have never been in a serious relationship with any man, let alone a foreign man, which brings about communication and cultural issues. For many Filipinas, even though they may speak English, they have many self-doubts around that language and the understanding of it when they're with a foreign man whose first language is English. Some Filipinas can be very shy to speak up in many circumstances because she may feel she doesn't have the words to explain exactly what she means. When she's with you, she may hear you say words and phrases that she's never heard of before, and thinks to herself that she possibly can't compete around language with that person, and so she decides staying quiet a lot of the time may be her best option. But rest assured, the cultural barriers and language issues will work themselves out over time if the couple are persistent, understanding and patient. You can be very sure on this. Some more serious fears a Filipina may have are around meeting a man who wants to marry her and take her to live in his country. At first, the Filipina may be very excited by this, to have more opportunities and a better life in a new country. It all sounds fantastic, and it certainly can be. But with that comes so many uncertainties for the Filipina that can be rather scary, especially when they've heard some terrible stories around things like the man changing from nice and sweet online and then he turns into a monster once she arrives in his country to live. Some foreign guys, and yes, I've seen them myself here in Australia, are very controlling of their Filipino wife. They control where they go and for how long, and in some cases, these women can't go anywhere without the man right by their side. These guys control who their wife has as friends, how often they can see or speak to family members, what clothes they can and can't wear, and some even tell them what work they'll do, or even that they don't want them to work at all and they stay at home to meet his every needs 24/7. When you consider that for many, going from an online relationship to living together can be far different, and some people just don't handle this very well after a period of time. If a person, or for that matter, the two people in the relationship, are not ready to give up their single lives and then be prepared to compromise on many different things with their partner, then certainly they shouldn't dive into such a relationship. From what I've been told, many Filipinas fear the thought of flying on a plane because many have never been away from their country or even their province area before. Going through the procedures in an international airport can be rather scary and intimidating to some Filipinas for sure, and it's only natural for the Filipina to have a fear around this, especially when she may be travelling to a new country to start her new life with a man that in some cases she may not really know all that well. A natural fear for her will be around if she'll even fit into that country. Things like, will she make friends? What work will she be able to do? And will she be able to eat all her favourite Filipino foods there? Or will she have to get used to a whole new diet? These fears, to name a few, all weigh heavily on many Filipinas' minds, and they're certainly genuine fears that many work through as time goes by. But one of the biggest fears a Filipina may have, for those going to live abroad, is around being so far away from her family and friends and missing her life in the Philippines. Even though a Filipina knows she can get on a video call to chat with her family, it's certainly not the same as being there in person. Many Filipinas are connected to their family, and the thought of not having them by their side to go through life can create some big fears for her. She will then have to find a whole new support system in her new country. Now, this is generally not an issue if the couple choose to live in the Philippines and stay in close proximity to the Filipina's parents and siblings. Unless, of course, the foreign guy becomes controlling, as mentioned before, and wants her to distance from her family, which unfortunately can and does happen. This next particular fear I won't spend much time on, but it's something that can play on a Filipina's mind before meeting you for the first time. And that is around bedroom activities. From what I've been told, some Filipinas believe that many Western guys are far more adventurous in the bedroom and far more open to trying new and different things, where many Filipinas may not be so open. And so, for those Filipinas, they have to find a way to keep the man happy, but without upsetting or offending him. I certainly can see a Filipina's dilemma here, but my best advice to the Filipina is simply, under all circumstances, only do what you're comfortable with, and don't be pushed into doing anything that you're not happy or comfortable doing. The last fear that I want to mention is around inequality in finances. Most foreign guys will have more money or assets than most Filipinas, and we all know that. But a Filipina will be especially aware of this, and therefore it can make her feel less than an equal in the relationship. Some foreign guys make it very clear that this is his money even after marriage, rather than what we have together is ours. And I say to each their own. But if that's one's mindset, what's the purpose of marriage? Simply, why not refrain from the marriage part of it, which I do know some of you guys do, which for you guys, that's totally cool. One needs to be aware of how a Filipina will feel around the money aspect, and she certainly doesn't need a constant reminder that this is your money and that she has to ask for every single cent. In my opinion, it's very important that the Filipina have her own money to spend as she pleases, and over time that will help her to push this fear aside. If the Filipinas watching can pop your comments around your fears in dating a foreign man, and for the foreign guys, are you aware of any other fears Filipinas may typically have in such relationships? That would be greatly appreciated. If you want more valuable information and tips to grow and take your relationship with a Filipina to the next level, then be sure to check out the playlist on screen now. And be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.